Role-playing games want you to feel powerful. You build a character, make choices, and of course, save the day. But some RPG mechanics really want to check your ego. They want you to struggle, and not in a fun way. These 5 mechanics will take your character apart piece by piece, and by the time you realize what's happening, you'll be missing a limb, or your mind, or someone you care about. These are in order from physically devastating to soul-crushing, so if you think losing a body part sounds bad, stick around for what comes next. Let's get into it. We're starting with the mechanic that literally takes a piece of you. Permanent damage or permanent amputation. Most RPGs let you heal anything. Drink a potion or cast a spell or even just sleep it off and you'll be just fine. But some games don't give you that luxury. If your character gets injured or suffers an infected wound, their limb could be gone and it doesn't come back. Your movement slows, your combat options decrease, even your inventory capacity could drop in some games because you've got one less hand to carry with. You might spend the rest of the game seeking out prosthetics or cybernetics just to get back to baseline, and even then, you don't always. And what makes this genuinely disturbing is that the game doesn't even pause to mourn the loss. It just keeps on going. You're slower now, weaker, and the world doesn't care. That's the part that really gets under your skin. In games like Kenshi or Wildermyth, losing a limb isn't a dramatic cutscene. It's just something that happened, and now you have to live with it. At least with permanent damage, you can see the damage and you can address it. But what about the damage you can't see? The kind that makes your character turn on their allies. Sanity and stress mechanics don't just affect your character's mental health. They strip away your ability to play the game the way that you want. Your powerful warrior won't attack because they're paralyzed by fear, or your healer won't heal because they're spiraling into a panic. Darkest Dungeon built its entire identity around this. Your heroes aren't just fighting monsters, they're fighting their own crumbling sanity, and often they're losing. Every expedition pushes them closer to the edge, and once they fall, they might sabotage your whole strategy. A once reliable crusader could be cowering in combat while their allies take the hits that they could have blocked. And the further you push, the worse it gets. There isn't always a clean recovery either. Time and rest help, but there are scars that stay. This is what makes Sanity such an unsettling mechanic. You start second guessing every decision, not because of the enemies, but because you don't trust your own party anymore. But at least stress can be managed with time. Some choices follow you forever, no matter what you do. You'd think it would be simple. Don't make evil choices. Pick the good options and stay on the moral high ground. But RPGs are really good at making that impossible. They don't give you good and evil, they give you terrible and slightly less terrible. And then they make you live with the consequences. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous will chip away at your morality so slowly you won't notice yourself aligning with villains and justifying it to yourself. And Tyranny starts you as a villain's right hand and dares you to find a clean path through a world that really doesn't have one. And in Baldur's Gate 3, one wrong dialogue option can turn someone against you, and even the right choice could still cost someone their life. And what makes it even worse still is that the game doesn't condemn you. There's no game over screen for making the cruel call. The world just keeps turning. You're left sitting there wondering what kind of person you are, and not your character, you as a person, because it's very hard to view these as abstract decisions. Often they feel more like mirrors. Making cruel choices is one thing, but what about when the game actively punishes you for making the kind ones? This is the mechanic that makes you double think every good instinct you have. You spare an enemy who begs you for mercy and they come back 10 times stronger with a grudge and a party full of reinforcements. Or you choose to help a village instead of chasing a reward. The village gets destroyed anyways and you missed a major upgrade that could have made your run much easier. Games that punish kindness don't just challenge your morality, they trap it. Virtuous acts become tactical liabilities. Every time you show mercy, you feel like you're gambling. And in this case, the house is pretty much always going to win. As the difficulty ramps up, you can't help but start calculating, is being a good person ever worth the mechanical cost? And that's exactly what the game wants you to ask. This is where the nice guy loses. And not because kindness is wrong, but because the game has decided that it's a vulnerability that can be exploited. And by the time you realize that, you've already been punished at least once for caring. And finally, the mechanic that doesn't just challenge you for a moment, it permanently changes your entire playthrough. So far, every other mechanic on this list can at least be rationalized. You lost a limb, you adapt. If you lost your sanity, you can recover, at least mostly. If you made cruel choices, well, maybe you feel like you had to. and your kindness getting punished, you could view that as a lesson learned. But Irreversible Sacrifices don't give you that. You have to choose which companion to take on a deadly mission, knowing they may not come back. You have to decide which of two people you'll save, knowing the other is gone. And not just for the quest, forever. Some games like Mass Effect carry those sacrifices across an entire series. This is really the highest stakes decision a game can force on you, because it doesn't reset. You won't live with the decision for a few hours, you'll live with it for the rest of the game, maybe even the entire franchise. And the game makes you pick. It doesn't take someone from you randomly, it makes you choose who you're going to lose. If you're attached to your companions, that's not a gameplay mechanic, that's like a psychological wound. And if you ever sat staring at a choice screen for 20 minutes, unable to pick because both options feel wrong, you know exactly what this feels like. 5 RPG mechanics that don't want you to win. At least not without losing a lot and feeling the full weight of every consequence that you earned along the way. But honestly, it makes them unforgettable, and I have to say that I'm a fan. Which of these made you stare at the screen after it happened? And is there a mechanic that I didn't include that left you genuinely wrecked? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.